Retired what?
Clean cut, all American man. No one pay attention to what's in my head. I got a voice inside that needs to be fed. It's causing chaos everywhere I land. I got a fever. I got a fever.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. Jordan, how the hell you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing well. Eventful weekend coming up. Some a little bit of eventful for baseball tonight for Ohio. So we have a loaded top to bottom show. I'm excited to dive into it. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. It's getting chilly. I'm enjoying the weather, sweatshirt weather throughout. So feeling pretty good. Like you said, massive game going on in Major League Baseball. Cleveland Guardians are up 5-3 over the Tigers. A late rally from the Guardians put them ahead. The David Fry home run was the difference maker, and now they are trying to close out the game in the ninth. Detroit does have a runner on second, no outs, bottom of the ninth. We will keep you going with that breakdown. Jordan, great weekend of football this weekend. I mean, we've got the Ohio State Buckeyes, which we're going to touch on first. The Bengals are playing on Sunday Night Football this week. The Browns have a big game against the Eagles. So epic weekend of football. I'm excited to talk about it. Anything you want to touch on before we jump into the show tonight?
No, it's a absolutely loaded weekend of football. Our UC Bearcats come back against UCF from their bye week. A little Big 12 action there as well. Like you said, major Big 10 action with us. National championship implications. Just a loaded top to bottom weekend. Can't wait to get into it.
All right, buddy. Well, let's start breaking it down. Let's get into it. Ohio State plays Oregon this weekend in a huge game, Jordan. I mean, this is the top 5 matchup. I believe Ohio State's ranked number 2. I believe Oregon's ranked number 3 in the AP poll. 7:30 primetime NBC. I mean, there's just, everything you could want in a matchup against a team like Oregon. We're getting in this matchup. 2 versus 3, Jordan. How you feeling about this one? I'm excited, man. I am beyond excited. 7:30 on Saturday night cannot get here soon enough.
Douglas, I'm excited, but I'm a little bit nervous. This is their ultimate test. We know, at least offensively, was a great tune-up against a great defense last week. So, we had over 200 yards on the ground. I kind of echoed that on the show on Monday. So I'm super excited, but I'm a little nervous. We'll dive into the keys of the games and what we think, but this is why we did everything we did, Douglas. This is why we went to the transfer portal. This is why we got Caleb Downs. This is why we got the center from Alabama. This is why Emeka Egbuka and everybody that stayed their 5th year and 4th year, all came back. So it all comes back to this game right here dictates the rest of the season moving forward. And, another reason we got Chip Kelly in the building for this kind of implication, this game right here, this game and further for the playoffs when they get there. But Douglas, this is why they did it all. So, this is all the chips are on the table. I'm super excited. I want to hear your take. And if you want to kick off kind of what you feel like the keys of the game are going to be, we can dive right into that.
So my feeling is, like you said, there is a lot that goes into, winning a conference as strong as the Big Ten. You've got to go out and you've got to make these massive moves. You've got to go out and swing for the fences. And that's what the Ohio State Buckeyes did this offseason. On Saturday, we have to see all of it working at once to beat this good Oregon team. I don't know. People are saying, Ohio State, 2-3 touchdowns better than Oregon. That's a massive margin for a team as good as Oregon. We're favored by 3.5 points, Jordan, at Oregon. I think we need to take that into consideration. Traveling cross country is a big deal. I'm excited. I'm excited. They've got a good quarterback in Dylan Gabriel. They've got good wide receivers. They've got good running backs. They're talented all over the field. But, Jordan, we are just as talented, if not more talented, top to bottom. Look for Jordan James, their star running back. Averages 6.3 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. They've got Tez Johnson, 43 catches, 395 yards, 5 touchdowns. Holden, their other good ones, got 3 touchdowns. Talent across the board. But that's why we have these big-time corners, these big-time safeties. We've got these. Our defensive line looked great against a good running back out of Iowa. Everything is in front of us, Jordan. It's gonna my number one key, Jordan. My number one key against a team like Oregon, who is high flying, big time offense, is you have to win the battle in the trenches. You have to be more physical than Oregon is at the point of attack to win this game. I believe Ohio State has the bodies to do that, but it is very, very important that they win up front. What are your thoughts on that, Jordan?
I was seeing that the Cleveland game just ended. I was trying to catch what happened there. But my thoughts are 110%. Up forward. It's got to be slowing down the game when it comes to and when I say that, I mean Ohio State reestablishing the run just like they did last week. If you keep Oregon's high flyers on a sideline, Doug, they can't score. So shortening the game, keeping our defense off the field, as long as possible, and really making that harder on Oregon and forcing Oregon to come out and pass. So if we shorten the game, we score on them early, and really are able to tee off Jack Sawyer and company to do what they do best. Let JTT bull rush and not really have to worry about these long zones that they run. Those quarterback keepers they love, and that option play they love to run. Douglas, I think that's going to be a massive key to the game, shortening it and establishing a dominant run for Ohio State.
Yeah, you've been harping on the run game all season, so I would love to see that continue. Gabriel likes to keep it in the red zone. He has 3 rushing touchdowns of his own right, so definitely have to watch that when you get closer to the red zone against this really, really talented Oregon team. Jordan, my third and final key to the game this weekend is it's going to be turnovers, Jordan. We have to win the turnover battle. Will Howard has to be clean. He has to play a clean game against Oregon. We've seen him take some risks, and I appreciate that out of a quarterback. I think a quarterback has to be willing to take some risks here and there to move the ball downfield, to do things like that. But we can't have the ones that are obvious. You know what I mean? We can't have the ones that are, 2 defenders converging on a receiver that should be picked off and's been dropped the last couple of weeks. We can't have things like that happen. It's going to be important. Turnovers. We need clean handoffs. We need clean RPOs. We need our receivers tucking the ball, and we need to have a turnover go our way, an interception, a forced fumble, a quarterback strip by Jack Sawyer or somebody like that. I think we have to win the turnover battle, and it would be great if we could get a turnover maybe in each half to really cement that for us. Shout out to Jenna. Thank you for tuning in. What's your final key, Jordan? Because I believe the turnover battle has to go our way for this game to be a win.
Well, my second key was actually going to point that out. I was going to say a defensive turnover for the Buckeyes. Have to create that, whether it's an interception, a sack fumble, or just kind of tomahawking the ball out of Jordan's hands when they run it for those long stretch zone plays they love to do. That would be my second key. And my third key, Douglas, is it's just plain and simple. They have to win the battle in the trenches on both sides. So the defense has to get home and make life uncomfortable, and the offensive line just has to shove everybody, whether it's pass protection. They can't give up the backside bandit. When Oregon loves to blitz the safety, especially from the opposite hash of the field, they can't give that up. The running backs have to be in tune when it comes to pass protection, and we have to get that going.
For sure, for sure. So that, our three keys to the game are mainly the same things: turnovers, offensive and defensive line. You have to win the trenches. You have to be more physical than Oregon to beat Oregon. And I believe your third key was the run game. I'm totally with you. Control the ball a little bit. Don't let Oregon get out and get flying around and having those receivers get deep downfield, stuff like that. I'm totally with you there. It's going to be a hell of a fun game. This is the first matchup between Ohio State and Oregon. This is Oregon's first real test in the Big Ten. This is a game that could set up playoff seeding. I expect both these teams to make the playoffs, but this is the kind of game that sets you apart by having a Big Ten championship on your resume when Oregon or Ohio State maybe doesn't make the Big Ten championship because of this loss. So there are a lot of implications that go into this game. I'm beyond excited. I can't wait to sit down and watch it, Jordan. Let's get to the hard part now. Who wins this game, and what's the final score?
Douglas, I have I'd say 35-32 Ohio State. I think, as much as I want us to control the trenches when it comes to the run game and shorten it, I think Oregon still kind of wiggles their way and they're able to score fast. And I believe a lot of those points are going to come into the first half, unfortunately, unless Ohio State kicks the trend of a slower start defensively in the first half, and then we kind of pour it on in the second half and establish some dominance. I'm going to give us the 35-32 win.
Okay. That's a 35-32 feels really good. I'm hoping our defense is a little more stout.
Same.
But let me go. I like 35. I think 35 is a solid number. I'm going to go 35-28 Buckeyes. I think maybe we score with some time left in the fourth, and our defense is able to hold and get us the win. So, yeah, let me go 35-28 Buckeyes to beat Oregon in a really, really fun matchup. A game that, like I said, huge implications. What's this mean for the Big Ten championship game? What's this mean for playoff seeding? All those chips are on the table for one of these teams to take. Again, cannot wait to watch this. Cannot wait for this game tomorrow night, Jordan. Anything else you want to touch on before we move on?
No, it's gonna be a great Saturday night matchup. So can't wait to get into it.
All right, Jordan. Let's transition into the Bengals versus Giants. You guys have the Sunday night game. You guys are 1-4. You were right on the brink of beating the Ravens on Sunday. Didn't go your way. You get another chance here against the Giants. Jordan, if you win this game, you're 2-4. I don't think it's over for you guys, but this has got to be a win here, right? This is a must win. This is probably the last must win. If you're 1-5, I think it's probably over, Jordan. If you can get to 2-4, I think things look a little bit better. You have some outs. What are your thoughts, buddy? 1-4. If you can beat the Giants, you get to 2-4. If you lose, is it over? Is it over?
Douglas, this is a playoff game. If we lose, it is absolutely over, and it might be time for Duke Tobin in the front office to start selling the pieces while the pieces still have some values if we lose this game. Now, personally, I don't think we're going to lose this game. The Giants, now, I'm not taking anything away from them. They are the lead. They are the NFL leading in sacks. So that defensive front, they're doing something right. I think this is going to be, we just came off a game against the number 1 overall defense in the NFL and didn't give too much pressure to Joe Burrow. But this offensive line is going to have another stellar performance when it comes to pass blocking. Otherwise, the Giants are going to eat. So, and make it interesting. But I think the Bengals are kind of good. This is going to be kind of reminiscent to the Carolina game. We're just going to score too much. I think the Bengals have too much offensively. That's just going to outmatch the Giants. Early it might be kind of tough. I think we might be looking at maybe a 14-7, 14-10 going into halftime. But I think the Bengals are going to find a way offensively because right now we just have too much talent. I know Gelsecki didn't practice. He's doubtful. That kind of hurts. But, Eric All is going to step up into that role. So I'm kind of confident in the defensive Correction, in a tight end room. I'm kind of confident. The defense, we did get DJ Ivy back in a lineup for quarterback to kind of take over that spot that Dax Hill is now out for the season with an ACL tear. So I'm confident there. The D line finally gets back Rankins. So that final piece for the defensive tackle group comes back, Douglas. And I think you just mesh all that together and, a positive media news. The defense had a players only meeting yesterday that was being widely reported. So I think, we do have some veterans that have been around and have won a lot on defense. So hopefully, Von Bell, even though he's degraded in play, those voices that have been around and won some championships elsewhere, and especially, BJ Hill, who participated in a Super Bowl for the Bengals, kind of get in everybody's ear, fire everybody up. And this defense might have their first kind of coming out party. So I think they're going to get it together. I think they're going to get it together.
That's bold.
Don't laugh at me. I think they're going to get it together. But Douglas, when the chips are down, I mean, you got to find yourself. And this as an athlete, this as a coach, and this on every level that we've played together. This is their game. So it's either they find it or they don't. I think they find a way to win. I think the defense finally cleans up a little bit on the defensive line when it comes to giving up rush yards. We'll see what the secondary does because, I mean, before that 50-yard run, Henry only had 45 yards on the ground for almost 4 quarters. So we know they can do it. We know they can do it. If the secondary gets their head out of their ass and gets it together, I think we're going to be fine. So, really give me a 28-14 win. I think the Bengals put them down soundly. But, the Giants are going to come out scratching and clawing in that first half. But, if we can survive that first wave, I think we secure it.
Okay. Well, I respect that. I'm a little bit worried about you guys still defensively. You seem to think I don't think it's getting better because I feel like you get a player back, but then you lose a player. And I don't think anybody that, there's not been any moves to really shore up any of the other spots that are having some issues. I think you guys are going to have to outscore the Giants. Their pass rush is going to be interesting. What the Browns have always done well against the Bengals is pass rush and make Burrow's job hard. And like you mentioned, the Giants lead the NFL in sacks. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, some of those, Dexter Lawrence, those guys, they love getting after the quarterback. This is going to be the first really big test for your offensive line. These guys are going to be put under constant pressure. I'm going 28-24. I think you guys win the game. I think you get to 2-4 and you start to build some of that momentum. I think Joe Burrow is playing incredible football. If you guys weren't 1-4, I believe he would be leading in the MVP candidate. I think if you guys get back to 500, he's got a legitimate shot to win MVP this year. But that's a long way away, Jordan. There's a lot of ifs there. It appears that the defense is so bad that it doesn't matter that the offense is playing this well. So to me, you got to find that middle ground. Maybe that comes with maybe a late turnover as the Giants are trying to, take the lead late in the game, something like that. Maybe Cam Taylor-Britt, continues some of his stellar play. It's kind of good game, game, good game, game. So, I don't think he was bad last week. He did, he got burned on the one, but this is a game to bounce back. He's going to have a tough matchup potentially with Malik Neighbors if he gets cleared. If Malik Neighbors doesn't play, that helps your defense even more. 28-24 feels safe for me. I expect you guys to win this game. I expect Joe Burrow to play very well on the Sunday night stage. I expect your guys as wide receivers to have big games like they did last week. I think this is the night that it starts to turn around for the Cincinnati Bengals, in my opinion.
And I'm glad you said kind of losing a player, gaining a player, but this is going to be Miles Murphy's second game of the season. Yeah. So he was able to, he was limited in snap count last week, but he did register 2 tackles for losses and 2 quarterback pressures on Lamar Jackson of all people. Daniel Jones is not Lamar Jackson, so that makes me feel a hell of a lot better. We know Daniel Jones is mobile, but he's not elusive. Lamar's elusive. Lamar, our secondary was covering people for 5 seconds or longer at times. So Daniel Jones is not that person. He pulls the gun, he'll pull the trigger, he'll make ill-advised throws, where Lamar Jackson is kind of 50-50, but when Daniel Jones makes a bad decision, it usually costs the Giants. So, I'm looking forward to the pressure kind of getting to him. Miles Murphy knocking off that rust and being kind of that player that we wanted to see, being a first round pick. But Douglas, I think Logan Wilson is going to have a coming out party. The guy has been averaging 5 interceptions a game
Five
for
interceptions a game.
no, I'm sorry, a season. You
All right,
you caught me. A season for the last 3 seasons. He's yet to register one this year, and I think this is his game. I think Daniel Jones loves to target the tight ends and throw crossers, and this plays into Lou Amarillo's really the way he plays zone and the way he
Right.
drops everybody back, especially with the defensive ends and the flats. This game is designed for how the Bengals run the zone. So, I think this is kind of the coming out party for the defense, and they kind of get their shit together.
Okay. We're both on the same page. I've got it 28-24. You got it 28-14. You're a little more confident in the defense. We'll see how it goes. We both expect a Bengals W. Start to turn things around here in Cincinnati and get back to where you guys were supposed to be. Jordan, let's transition to a team that is going the wrong direction. The Cleveland Browns take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia, Jordan. The only thing that I can kind of look for here is, luckily, the Eagles haven't really hit their stride, and if anything, they have not looked good as a football team. But I say that, and then it turns around, and you think about it, the Browns have looked like a college team, a JV team, a majority of the time. We're not in a great spot. We have people on Twitter asking, should we be trading Myles Garrett for assets? Some things are starting to, mock drafts are starting to get popped up on the timeline. We're in a bad spot, Jordan, and going to Philly this weekend doesn't seem like it's going to be a good time for us to turn it around. What are your thoughts on Browns versus Eagles? Eagles win and cover.
Yeah.
Watson plays all 4 quarters. Yeah, probably.
Doug, I'll start by saying this. When you and I did our preseason predictions, and we went back and forth, but Doug, I never thought the Browns would be experiencing this kind of level of frustration. So, I'll throw some sympathy here because I don't know. I'm kind of speechless. This defense, I really thought was going to carry him through. I thought, Watson was going to play some subpar football, but still be able to game manage and, take the talent where it needed to go. Then, I kind of had in my mind that Nick Chubb was going to play that, Batman role, come in mid-season with the Browns kind of right there where they needed to be. Kind of that 3-2 is what we had predicted out of the first 5 games, and really kind of take over. So this season has me speechless. I don't think it gets much better for you against the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is me just talking as an analyst on the analyst side of things. But I think you guys come out with a fight, because if you're going to turn it around, it would be right now against a team that is sluggish, and the Eagles are, hot and cold more than anything I've seen in NFL.
Oh, Jordan
Eagles
bugging
fan,
out on us. He's
and
back. You're good. Keep going.
No, and Coach Schwab, I have on my staff with me. He's a big Eagles fan, really week to week. You never know what they're going to do, Douglas. Now, if they come out and they hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley all day long, it might be a long day for you. Or they did what they did last week, and Barkley registered, I believe, like 12 to 13 carries, and they just kind of abandoned the run, and they went heavy pass. You guys might be okay. So it just depends on, what the play calling is for the Eagles. I think, the defense is still going to make the day long for the quarterback over in Philly. I've never really been a fan of his. I thought he's kind of overrated at times. He's always been surrounded by talent, especially at the wide receiver level. It's always kind of bailed him out. Always had a decent run game. So I think you drop this one, but I think it's going to be a fight. Give me 21-14. I think the Eagles win, but I think the Browns finally establish that, they are a team again.
Yeah. It's at Philly. They are 9.5-point favorites, Jordan. I don't know. I'm not sure here. They might be getting AJ Brown back this week, their star receiver. Saquon Barkley has played really well this year when they've given him the ball.
When they let him run, and that's the thing. You never know what the Eagles are going to be like.
Well, I don't. That part doesn't. That don't do nothing for me. They're just against us. I feel like they're going to run the ball, and then once we commit to the run, they're going to go over the top. I'm going to say 28-14 Eagles. I hate doing that because I'm a Browns fan, but I don't want to come on here and just lie and be biased and do that kind of stuff. So 28-14 Eagles. The Browns moved to 1-5, and Stefanski, I think, continues to put himself on a hot seat because, well, more than likely, Jimmy Haslam is not letting Kevin Stefanski coach the way he needs to be coaching. There's more than likely a mandate from the management that Watson has to play, because if there wasn't, I just don't see how any coach would sit there and let their career get tanked by such bad quarterback play. I don't know. It's frustrating. I don't see us beating Philly in Philly, especially with how bad the Browns have been playing. I hope we sit out Nick Chubb for a couple more weeks. Don't rush him back into this to try to save the season when he's trying to get back to health. Going to be a rough night. Yeah, but give me the Eagles 28-14, as much as that sucks to say. Let's transition, Jordan. No more. We're going to the Guardians, buddy, because they pulled off a hell of a win, and Cleveland needs something exciting to talk about. Guardians pull off the win. It is 2-2 in the series now, Jordan. If you recall, before this series started, one of us predicted a 5-game series. The other predicted a 3-game or 4-game series.
4 games.
I called it. We're 2-2 going into game 5. It's going to be in Cleveland. All the chips are on the table. The offense came alive late in the game to pull ahead and close it out. This is fun stuff, Jordan. Playoff baseball. Fun stuff, man. What are your thoughts?
Douglas, I'm super excited. It's officially do or die time. They head back to Cleveland, so that's always a plus to play a elimination game in front of the home crowd. But damn, those 2 games had me worried, Doug. They went almost 18 innings. No, they did. They went 18 or 19 innings total in the last 3 games without scoring a run. That that's very uncharacteristic for a team that came into the playoffs with 2 guys over 100 RBIs. So it's just, I was worried. But like you said, they pulled it off tonight in late fashion. They had the 2-run home run to take the lead. They manufactured another run to put the icing on the cake tonight. Pitching was a lot better, but still some nervous moments. That offense, I hope they find themselves at home, because that game 1 offense absolutely dominated. Registering 7 runs, and they're going to need that, Doug, to get over the hump here against the Tigers at home. They're going to need 4 to 5 runs minimum, I think, because the Tigers have been kind of on fire the last 3 nights. So I think Cleveland's going to win it. Give me a 5-4 win. Cleveland gets it done at home, and moves on to face. Is it No, it's not Kansas City.
Well, the Yankees are up 2-1. They're up 3-0. So they'll probably be Yankees in the AL championship.
Give me some late 90s baseball there.
Yeah, exactly. Jordan, you mentioned 5-4. That was the final of tonight's game. Jose Ramirez gets his first home run of the postseason. He has really, really struggled this postseason. He's hitting 143. That's been a major issue for the team. They've not hit the ball well. And you said coming into this, the bats have got to carry them through. They have not so far, but they've got a chance here. Game 5, anything can happen. It's a 1-game playoff. It's exciting baseball, man. It's really, really exciting with a chance to go on and play the Yankees for the right to play in the World Series. I'm excited to watch Game 5. What I don't like, Jordan, is Game 5. A Game 5 in baseball is at 4:38. 4:38?
What is the
on
league
Saturday? 4:38 on a Saturday? Why is that not a late game? Or why is that not a late playoff game or something? Unless they think maybe the Yankees and the Kansas City will have another game, but it doesn't look like it. So that seems like weird scheduling to me. That seems like it should be a night game.
And it might be, or they might not with the way the college football is rolled out at the same time, they might be fighting some college spots because you look at Fox is tied up, NBC is tied up. We know they're TBS, True TV, and HBO Max have been covering the AL side of things. So it might just come down to scheduling against the college teams. So that especially with a top 10, top 5 matchup, in prime time over on NBC, that might be tough sledding, Doug. It might just be some executive decisions to kind of put it there at 4:30 in the middle of all the big college games.
And that's definitely possible, Jordan. That's definitely possible. So huge game on Saturday. We will cover it. We will recap it on Monday, Jordan. Excited for the Guardians. We hope they can come through and pull that one off. That would be huge. Getting a chance to play for an AL title. So let's move on, Jordan. We got a little bit more to cover, and then we're going to get out of here tonight. So we've got some college football around Ohio. We talked about, obviously, Ohio State earlier. Let's talk about Cincinnati. They've got a tough game this weekend. Back on after a bye week. Let me get that pulled up. Cincinnati at UCF. UCF is a solid team. They are favored to win by 3, Jordan. What we've really liked watching the Bearcats this year. We know last game before the bye week, their running backs both got hurt. It was all on Sorsby's back. It was a lot to ask from one guy. It didn't go their way. They bounced back this week on a tough game. 3:30 on ESPN2. We will be watching. What are your thoughts, Jordan?
Doug, I'm excited for them. I don't know the current status of their running back room, but Sorsby showed that he can ball. And it just, like I said, when we say they came up short, it was damn near. That game could have went both ways because they were trading punches like it was an old-fashioned backyard fight. So we were texting back and forth. Cincinnati looked down. They hit a 70-yard screen. Then Sorsby came back with a nice 8-play drive that covered 72 yards right after that. So they showed Douglas that they can score quickly and they can kind of put together those long drives that kind of grind against the defense. So Sorsby has been playing kind of out of his mind the last 2 games. Really, if you look statistically, the young man's done a lot. And if they can get that running back room healthy, I don't foresee him losing this game. I know UCF is a 3-point favorite, but give me Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati wins this that 31-28. Close nail biter. I think it's going to be a dogfight to the very end. This is the new Big 12 conference at its best. So give me Cincinnati. I think they're going to win this by I know we're not favored, but I think Sorsby finds a way. They come off a bye week. Everybody kind of heals. That offensive line kind of gets it more back together, and they just let him really rocket the ball again and make it happen.
For sure. I like that. I'm going to go Cincinnati pull an upset also. Slight upset. It's not a massive upset. Cincinnati is I think there were 3 more games to be bowl eligible. I think the Cincinnati team's better than what people are giving credit for. I think they pull off an upset against UCF. Jordan, we got a little action this weekend. Ball State at Kent State. Ball State was favored by 4.5. We've got Toledo at Buffalo. Toledo favored by almost 10. Miami, Ohio visits Eastern Michigan. They're favored by 2.5. Akron visits Western Michigan. Western Michigan is actually favored by 9.5. Bowling Green takes on Northern Illinois at home. Bowling Green is favored by 2.5. Ohio versus Central Michigan. Ohio is favored by 2.5. Jordan, Bowling Green, 2-3. They are number 1 in the MAC. They have a loss to Penn State. That was a close one. They have a close loss to Texas A&M. And then they had that tough loss to Old Dominion. That's kind of a head scratcher. But they are 1-0 in the MAC after the Akron win. Northern Illinois, they beat Notre Dame, but they kind of fallen off very hard after that. That's my game to watch this weekend. Bowling Green versus Northern Illinois. See who comes out on top and who kind of, if Bowling Green can win this one, kind of take control of the MAC going forward. There's a lot of fun games to play this weekend, man.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned their losses, Douglas, but outside the Old Dominion, that those 2 losses, that's a lot to hang your hat on. I mean, they went. Penn State, I believe, is now ranked in the top 10 in AP polls.
Penn State,
no reason there. And Texas A&M, they're
25th, I believe.
That's what I was about to say. They're just outside the 25 or right there. So Douglas State, for a MAC team, and we harped on it over the summertime when we did all these predictions. We dove into the MAC teams, and Bowling Green really scheduled. That's balls to the wall. That was a
Yes.
hard schedule for those first 3 games. I think their third loss, Douglas, was probably kind of a hangover. You play those 2 big conference games. They're close, so the energy kind of sways one way or another. If you look at the grand scale of things, but I think they get it together. They're back in MAC play. NIU and themselves, that their big upset over against Notre Dame. So this is the game I would circle as well. I'm excited about this. Definitely be tracking it. I think it might be on ESPN Plus. Don't quote me on that yet, but we tweet that out on Saturday where to watch and catch all the action. So, or Maction as we tweet it. But I'm excited for this game, Doug. I think it's going to be competitive.
Hell yeah, buddy. Well, that's all we have for college football. Jordan, is there anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here tonight?
No, I think we circled the wagons. I know we've been on for just a little hair under 40 minutes. We tackled a lot tonight. I was a little distracted early, so I apologize for turning away and trying to catch who won that Cleveland game. But I'm excited. Hopefully my fantasy team takes care of business and pulls off an upset. It's looking a little grim and ugly for me right now, but stranger things have happened. So fuck your fantasy team and everything that came with it. Sorry, Aunt Wendy, I had to drop one at the end, but it's all in good fun and good spirits. How about you, Doug? Anything you want to circle back to?
No, and I just want to say for everybody, Jordan lives in delusional land when he thinks that he's going to beat my fantasy team this week. Jordan puts together one of the worst teams I've ever seen.
Worse.
So,
Worse.
Starting Seattle's defense against the 49ers is a rookie move. We had to bring this guy out of oblivion back to play fantasy football. He wasn't even allowed to play fantasy football the last couple of years because he was so bad. We felt bad. We brought him back, and he's already proving us wrong by bringing him back. The guy still stinks. So by Monday, I'll let you guys know how bad I beat him. But just it's a charity case, is what it is, guys. It's just a charity case. But Jordan, it's fun matchup. Fun show tonight. We covered a ton of information.
Yeah.
Go Buckeyes. Massive game against Oregon. 2 versus 3. I cannot wait for this game. Duck hunting season. Pow! All kinds of fun stuff this weekend. Wendy said, good luck, Jordan. Yes. But huge implications this weekend. Sunday night football for the Bengals in a big game. If they can move to 2-4, things really start to open up for them. And then we have the lonely Browns. If they could pull it off an upset, maybe my mental health survives another weekend. If not, you never know what could happen. This has been Ohio Sports Talk. 76 live viewers tonight. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. We know on a Thursday night, there's Thursday night football. There's all kinds of different things going on. There's playoff baseball. Thank you for tuning in with us. We will be back Monday night to recap the entire weekend at 9:15 Eastern. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. And this has been Ohio Sports Talk. We are out.